There are places on this earth that do not belong to the present day. They are fragments of a forgotten epoch, stranded in time, floating above the clouds like stone arcs carrying the memory of a younger, more violent planet. Deep in the heart of the Guyana Shield, where the borders of Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana dissolve into an impenetrable green abyss, a shadow rises against the horizon. It is not a mountain in the traditional sense. It has no peak, no summit that tapers to a point. It is a fortress, a colossal table of sheer rock, severed from the world below by vertical walls that soar nearly 2,000 feet straight into the sky. This is Mount Roraima. To the indigenous Pemon people, it is the stump of a mighty tree that once held all the fruits and vegetables of the world. To the geologists, it is a tepui, a house of the gods. To the rest of us, it is the lost world. To understand the scale of this place, you must first understand the silence that surrounds it. The journey here begins in the Grand Sabana, a vast rolling grassland that feels endless, bathed in golden light and scoured by ancient winds. But as you move closer, the horizon is swallowed by the silhouette of the tepuis. They stand like sentinels, black and foreboding against the shifting mists. Roraima is the grandest of them all, a geological monolith that looks artificial, as if carved by the hands of titans rather than the slow erosion of water and wind. The ascent is a journey backward through time. You leave the sweltering heat of the tropical savanna and enter a dense, tangled rainforest that clings to the base of the cliffs. The air here is thick, humid, and alive with the scream of howler monkeys and the hum of insects. But as the path steepens, the jungle falls away. You are suddenly faced with the wall. It is a vertical face of pre-Cambrian quartzite, slick with moss and perpetual moisture. This rock is 2 billion years old. It was here before the dinosaurs walked the earth, before the continents drifted apart, before life had even crawled out of the oceans. Touching this stone is touching the very spine of the planet. Crossing the threshold onto the summit of Roraima is a moment of cognitive dissonance. You expect a view, a peak, perhaps a continuation of the jungle below. Instead, you step onto the surface of an alien planet. The top of Roraima is a landscape of blackened rock, carved into impossible labyrinthine shapes by millions of years of torrential rain. There is no soil here, only bare stone and pools of water that reflect the grey, churning sky. It looks like the surface of the moon, or perhaps Mars, if Mars were drenched in water. The silence here is absolute. The cacophony of the Amazon rainforest, which lies just a few thousand feet below, is gone. In its place is the sound of the wind hissing through the rock formations and the distant, rhythmic dripping of water. The atmosphere is heavy, pressurized. The clouds do not float above you here. They rush through you, thick banks of fog that reduce visibility to zero in a matter of seconds, then vanish just as quickly, revealing the haunting, jagged geometry of the plateau. Because Roraima has been isolated from the jungle floor for millions of years, evolution here has taken a different path. This is an island in the sky, an ecological prison where life has been forced to adapt to conditions found nowhere else on Earth. The plants here are survivors of a nutrient-starved hell. Because the rain washes away all organic matter, the soil is barren. So, the plants have turned into predators. You see fields of asterisk, Heliamphora asterisk, the sun pitcher plant, their elegant red-veined trumpets rising from the wet rock. They do not wait for the sun, they wait for flesh. They lure insects into their slippery depths, digesting them to gain the sustenance the stone refuses to give. And then there is the Oreophrynella quelchi, the Roraima bush toad. It is a tiny, pebble-like creature, black as the rock it lives on. It is a biological paradox. Unlike other frogs, it cannot swim and it cannot hop. If it were to hop on this precarious windswept plateau, it might fall into the abyss. So, over eons, it has forgotten how to jump. Instead, it walks, slowly and deliberately, or curls into a ball and rolls like a stone. It is a species trapped on a rooftop, unchanged for millennia, a living fossil witnessing the slow march of geological time. Wandering deeper into the plateau, the landscape becomes even more surreal. You enter the Valley of the Crystals. The ground here glitters under your feet. It is not ice and it is not glass. The entire valley floor is carpeted in raw quartz crystals, scattered like diamonds by a careless giant. In any other place on Earth, this would be looted, stripped bare by human greed. But here, protected by the sheer inaccessibility of the terrain, they remain, crunching softly under boots, sparkling against the dark, moody slate of the bedrock. It is a scene of extravagant wasted beauty, wealth that has no value here, serving only as decoration for the storms. The water on Roraima is a force of violent creation. Because the summit is a flat table, the heavy tropical rains have nowhere to go but down. The water collects in jagged pools, some lined with brilliant quartz, looking like natural jacuzzis filled with freezing tea-colored water. These pools feed streams that meander through the rock labyrinth until they reach the edge, and the edge is the defining feature of this world. Standing at the prow of Roraima, the northernmost point of the plateau, is a vertigo-inducing experience that defies logic. The cliffs drop straight down into the clouds. You can hear the roar of waterfalls, but often you cannot see them. The water spills over the lip of the mountain, plummeting thousands of feet, but the drop is so high and the wind so strong that the water never hits the ground. It atomizes in mid-air, turning into a majestic plume of mist that drifts away into the jungle canopy below. These are phantom waterfalls, rivers that vanish into the sky. As night falls, the lost world reveals its true face. The temperature plummets. The tropical heat of the lowlands feels like a distant memory. Here, near the equator, you can freeze to death. The fog often clears at night, unveiling a sky so dense with stars, it looks like a ceiling of crushed velvet. The Milky Way arches over the black silhouettes of the rock formations that look like crouching beasts, ruined cathedrals, and faces screaming in silence. This is when the feeling of isolation is most acute. You realize that you are camping on a remnant of the supercontinent Gondwana. You are sleeping on the oldest surface on Earth. There is a profound melancholy to Mount Roraima. It is a place that feels indifferent to the existence of humanity. It does not welcome visitors. The hike is brutal, the weather is punishing, and the terrain is treacherous. It is a fortress that wants to remain closed. In our modern age, where every corner of the globe is mapped, tagged, and developed, Roraima stands as a defiant exception. It is a reminder that the Earth is not entirely ours. There are still pockets of deep wilderness where the rules of civilization do not apply, where the timeline of human history is nothing more than a blink in the eye of the stone. When the morning comes, the sun rises below you, illuminating the sea of white clouds that blanket the rainforest. For a moment, the rest of the world ceases to exist. There is only this island, this floating rock, drifting through the white ocean of the sky. To stand here is to stand apart from the world you know. It is to witness the Earth as it was in the beginning, raw, violent, silent, and terrifyingly beautiful. This is not just a mountain, it is a time capsule, it is a biological laboratory, it is the final frontier of the natural world. Roraima does not just look unreal, it challenges the very concept of reality, forcing us to accept that some mysteries are not meant to be solved, but only witnessed. In the shadow of the precipice, looking out over the void, you realize that the lost world was never lost. It was just waiting for us to be brave enough to find it.